I'm going to have a little look at this exclusive from iNews, where Thérèse Coffey has excluded certain parties in the help of saving the River Wye. Why is that? Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from the iNews, and that is Thérèse Coffey accused of excluding environmental groups over the Defra crisis meeting over saving the River Wye. Now, why would you exclude certain people from such an important meeting if you really do intend to save the River Wye? Well, let's have a look more into detail, shall we, guys? So, the roundtable was held on the same day as Natural England labelled much of the important salmon river declining, but major local and national campaign groups that criticised the government were not invited. So, Thérèse Coffey has been accused of excluding environmental groups from a crisis meeting on saving the River Wye on the day it was officially labelled as in decline. The roundtable, organised by Defra, brought together local and national politicians, farmers and the Welsh government, but several environmental groups have been critical of the government were not invited. The meeting, aimed at improving the state of the Wye, came as Natural England downgraded most of the river and the major tributary, the Lugg, because of the falling population of the Atlantic salmon, macrophytes and native white-claws crayfish. If I mispronounce words again, I apologise. The Wye, which flows through England and Wales, is one of the UK's most significant rivers for nature and is a protected site. Campaigners have warned it is dying due to agricultural pollution from intense poultry farming. Both local grassroots groups and national organisations said that they had been told about the event and they were only found out about it this weekend. The Friends of the Upper Wye, which conducts one of England's largest citizen sciences efforts in monitoring the Wye's water quality, told the that it had pressed their local MP, Jess Norman, the Hertfordshire Council, for an invitation. But one was not forthcoming. Why not? We would like to have had a voice at the table and asked the Secretary of State whether she had planned to reduce pollution to the Wye and restore the river to its health, the group said. River Action, which campaigns nationwide against agricultural pollution, also said it has been blocked from attending the roundtable. So, these campaign groups who obviously they know about the River Wye and want to and don't seem to be given a seat at the table whatsoever with this important meeting. Why is that? It just doesn't. Yeah, it has to be you would think there would be a suitable reason for it. Charles Wills Watson, the group's chairman, told the despite repeated requests to Defra to be included in the so-called meeting of all concerned parties, it is deeply disappointing that River Action, along with many other highly relevant environmental groups, were deliberately excluded from what seemed to be predominantly a meeting of the vested agricultural interests. So this isn't about saving the environment. This isn't about saving the River Wye. This is about profiteering, allegedly. Other environmental groups privately expressed surprise at not being aware of the event taking place. Defra has been asked for comment. Only 2 local environment organisers were invited to the event. Okay, so 2 were invited, which included substantial representation from local farmers and farming groups, including the NFU and Avota, a major poultry supplier. Friends of the River Wye and River Action have been highly critical of the government's inaction on agricultural pollution. Yeah, so you're bringing the local farmers and the farmers groups, but you're not having other environmental groups in there. It says a lot, doesn't it? The crisis meeting coincided with Natural England's clashing of all 7 sections of the Wye in England and 4 of the River Lugg as being unfavourable declining. Previously, 1 section had been labelled favourable and 6 were unfavourable recovering. That's not good at all. The assessments are on the basis of declining wildlife and plant numbers, including the struggling Atlantic salmon. Water quality targets were not found to be failing on the Wye, but velociphytes level were close to their limits at several points. The Lugg was in breach of the safe velociphyte level. Velociphyte promotes the growth of algae and algal blooms, which smooth rivers and uses up their oxygen, killing fish and other plant life. If there's noise in the background, I do apologise, I can't do anything about it. The Wildlife Trust says the first algal blooms of the year were already appearing on the river. They warned that without urgent help and appropriate management, the river will never reach a favourable or recovery condition. Tom Tibbetts, chair of the Friends of the Upper Wye, welcomed the reassessment from Natural England, telling that it was good news that regulators have finally acknowledged the problem. However, he said that they were playing catch-up. It is a complete failure of legislation and planning, he said. The river is dying when we see big spikes in pollution, and that's the hallmark of a sign of farming runoff. The Wye catchment is thought to be home to more than 20 million chickens following a bloom of intense poverty farms that produce immense amounts of manure and is often spread on nearby fields. Local councils were accused of assessing each planning proposal on an individual basis without examining the broader impacts. Parts of Hertford are now subject to nutrient neutrality rules, which effectively ban new homes from being built because of the impact on the rivers. That's just annoying that those who care about this river dearly are being excluded from what is supposed to be a very important meeting on how to help it. Speaking of the downgrading, Mrs. Coffey said, "The River Wye is clearly struggling and it is vital that we turn the tide on its decline. As I set out in our plan for water, we need local plan catchment by catchment, community by community to tackle issues that are affecting water quality. Bringing people together for local communities, it's clear we have a common goal. We do all need to work together at a greater pace and with a purpose to actively support our farmers and food producers to produce food sustainability and reduce pollution." Mrs. Coffey told Farmers Present that there is a wide range of support available to them from government, including funding from slurry infrastructure, free one-to-one advice on pollution, and new prospective subsidies that include payments of reducing runoff. That's all well and good, but why would you exclude? Oh yeah, because they criticised you, didn't they? Yeah, that's the reason, guys. Yeah, because they've been critical of the government and its handling of protecting the River Wye and other environments. The environment minister has dismissed them, obviously. They seem to be just avoiding any kind of criticism, and they want to know what she is going to do about it. She is the Environment Secretary. I'd like to think, yeah, that something would be done, but I'm very much sceptical of it, and the decline once again of environment in our country is continuing to happen. We've already talked about the sewage issues that are taking place, and how the Environment Minister is kind of sitting on her hands with that one, and it looks like she might be doing something, but I don't think it's in the interest of the environment. I think it's more in the interest of profit. That's just my theory from that. Based on her past and from this article here with being excluded from other people. It just doesn't feel right to me at all. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe. Hope you guys found this interesting, and as always I will catch you guys very, very soon.